Greetings, everybody, from Dee Dee in the bedroom. Because I just took a long nap. I had a very, very long day today at work. And, yeah, things are winding down before the holidays. And everybody is just really rush, and busy and just very stressful time. Anyway, so I came home. Matthew was tired. I was tired. We started by crashing on the living room daybed area, and the cats kept jumping on our heads and our sides and our legs and grabbing us and scratching at us. So we decided to just go to the bedroom, shut the door, shut the cats out, and go to sleep, other than Bo. I think we had Bo in there sleeping with us. He was really good. He didn't jump on our head. Anyway, so we did that, and when I woke up, which was like, I said about 2-3 hours later, it was a long time, I turned on my YouTube. I hopped into Phil's live chat for a few minutes, and just to get the gist of what was going on in his neck of the woods. And once I got the gist of that, I said a few words and left. And then I went to a video about Ruby Franke, which, if you guys remember, I started talking to you about her, gosh, a couple months ago at least, 2 or 3 months ago, I think, maybe more, about how she was arrested. Her and Jody Hildebrand were arrested for abusing, I would say cultically, abusing a bunch of children that were Ruby's children. The abuses weren't really known in detail at that time, but now further information has come out, and Ruby has pleaded guilty on 3 or 4 of the 6 counts. And nothing has been said more about Hildebrand yet. If you recall, Jody Hildebrand was the mastermind, if you will, behind the systematic torture, abuse, neglect of all of the Ruby Franke children, along with a bunch of others, apparently, allegedly through her counseling practices and influence over the parents of the children, which we haven't heard anything about anyone else's children other than Ruby's at this point, to my knowledge, other than Jody Hildebrand's niece, who came forward and talked about how some of these same torturous disciplines, if you will, were enacted on her when she was a child living with her Aunt Ruby. Or, sorry, her Aunt Jody, the main leader of this cultic group called Connections. It was an online supposed type of support group for parents to teach them how to properly discipline and raise their children with good principles. And the good principles of starving them, apparently demanding unquestioned obedience from them with very harsh consequences, to name a few things. Well, anyway, some of the things that I've heard recently made my blood boil, to say the least, that anybody would do this to anybody, let alone a child. So, some of the counts I'm going to get into may be triggering, so if you are triggered by discussions of, frankly, abuse, then don't watch further, please. I don't want you being triggered. Okay, or harmed in any way, shape, or form emotionally. But this is just deplorable what these women have done to children. One thing they did was, of course, starving them. Making them wait for, like, long periods of time to get their food, which sometimes this was even filmed on Ruby's channel called 8 Passengers, where she documented every waking moment and sleeping moment and sick moment and starving moment of her children's lives. And then there was more going on behind the scenes that we didn't see. However, some of the counts were, yes, starving the children, handcuffing one of the little boys, not only his hands but his feet, in such a way, this is what got me. I mean, I'm not saying handcuffing is good in any way, shape, or form. It's disturbing in and of itself, and abuse, obviously. But handcuffing his feet and his hands in such a way that they were elevated above the floor. for like hours at a time, I guess days at a time, to the point where they were cutting into the muscles and the tendons in the child's hands and feet. Oh my God. Ugh. I have worked with children, y'all, and I've raised children, and I can't even fathom somebody harming a child in any way, shape, or form, let alone this kind of horrendous stuff. There were things on her videos about making the children eat one at a time, like they were made to stay outside until she called them in. And it wasn't just her children, there were cousins there, there were relatives, I guess. And the babies apparently had to eat last. What? I mean, I did fun stuff with my kids. Like, I could see me doing that with my 4 daughters, just as a playful thing. Like, oh, let's see, you know, I'm going to eat with her so I can get some one-on-one time with her. I wouldn't let them stay out there for hours at a time, waiting while I took who knows how long with each child. That's just weird and disturbing altogether, for sure. And Ruby did it in a weird way, like just, I don't know, making them eat individually so she could film each one eating and her feeding them, and yeah, just weird. And then, of course, everybody that watches the Ruby story, if you will, knows about how she made her child go without food when she forgot her lunch at school and made her go all day without food, unless some kind soul would share their sandwich with her. I don't understand it. Food is something, you guys know me and food. I'm a foodie. I love food. And I would not deprive somebody from eating in any way, shape, or form. They would eat healthy, yes, in my household, but not depriving them of eating. No. If my child forgot their lunch, I was in the car driving over there to give them their lunch. You don't make a kid go all day and try to learn on an empty stomach. That's cruel. Now, what Ruby says she was practicing is natural consequences. And I understand that teaching because I was actually raised with that teaching myself. Raised in the sense of, by the time I was a teenager, I lived with some people that believed in some of these teachings. And there was natural consequences. There was spiritual consequences. There were logical consequences. So, logical consequence, for instance, would be if you took an object, we'll say you smacked your brother on the head with a ruler. The ruler was taken away. An illogical consequence would be, I took the ruler and smacked you on the head with it, or let them smack you on the head. Now, I've seen that happen too. That is not legit at all, y'all. Well, he hit you, so now you turn and hit him. No. No, he hit you, so we're going to take the ruler away from him, have him tell you that he's sorry, maybe do a little writing assignment, I shall not hit my sister with the ruler, that sort of thing. But not, now here, you take the ruler and hit him on the head. See how it feels? No. That's terrible. Your kid bites you, so you bite him back. That is the most, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, asinine thing I've ever heard of. And yet, I've seen it happen. Oh my God. Just, some people should not be parents, in my opinion. They shouldn't. Alright, and I'm not talking about Ruby necessarily. I'm talking in general some of the things I've seen over the years of my life. Parents, I say it very loosely with quotation marks, with their children. And how they discipline them. Sick. Sick. If y'all do that, y'all need help. Talk to a therapist. Because you don't do that to a child. Then there are natural consequences. Like, oh, I woke up late, so I missed my bus today. So I have some homework to make up because I didn't make it to school. Okay. I'm okay with that. That happened with my children a few times. You know, you got your alarm clock set. You keep turning your alarm clock off and you go back to bed. You didn't make it to school, so you missed out on the assignment or you missed out on something special going on. You can't relive a day. So that's a natural consequence. Okay? That's understandable. That's okay. Spiritual consequences, those are a whole other thing. You do something wrong then you feel bad about it, you know, and you want to do the right thing. That's a spiritual consequence. So I do believe in consequences, but within the bounds of what those consequences are. I think a punishment, if you want to call it a punishment or a discipline, should fit the crime, okay? If you, as a child, come in my kitchen and you pull stuff out of the cupboard and you make a mess of flour everywhere, the consequence will be I make you clean up the flour. Okay, the consequence is not a beating or making you eat garbage out of a tray or, you know, stupid, dumb stuff. That's abuse. That's not discipline. Yeah, just the stuff that I've heard and read and things that were done are deplorable by this Ruby whatever. And she did plead guilty, like I said, thankfully. But, you know how that goes in court. They tell you what to plead, pretty much. Because it all boils down to if you get a lesser sentence or not. Which I think is dumb. We want to talk about consequences. Let's start in the court system. Somebody does something to abuse somebody, put them behind bars and don't give them a lot of extras. Make them, you know, have to suffer a little bit for what they did to the person that they did it to. Don't sit there and, oh, well, we're going to, as long as you help us do this, we're going to give you a lighter sentence. I've never understood that. I don't understand that. I know even now in the court systems, they can't keep people more than a certain amount of time. They have to release them and stuff. I don't get that. I just don't. I don't understand. The people that are tortured and abused go through hell. And then the people that are the perpetrators get off lightly. How does that even make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense at all. Ugh. Anyway, trying to think of some of the other things. Oh, her children were made to do chores for hours at a time, for long hours at a time, in the heat, in the desert, exposed to sunburn, you know? Oh, man. Her children were made to sleep on the bathroom floor when they got sick. The cold tile bathroom floor. I guess because she didn't want them to be far from the toilet. She didn't want to have to clean it up or something. I don't know. I didn't used to watch her videos. I never would watch her videos except to expose her. But I never saw her videos until the whole situation came where her son escaped out the window and ran to tell somebody he was being tortured and abused. And then they found countless other evidence, situations of these kids being tortured and abused and neglected throughout the years. Years, y'all. Years. And it was posted on YouTube. Oh, and little Miss Ruby Franke had an issue because her son was getting his identity from Instagram and forming his own identity on Instagram. But what is she doing? She's filming on YouTube. Like, daily and throughout the day. Everything about her children, including her daughters, picking out their bras. There was nothing private in these kids' lives. When she, quote-unquote, disciplined them and they were crying, she filmed that too. Oh my gosh. I don't understand it. I don't understand these people that want to get rich off of exploiting their children. She truly did. I used to film my granddaughter. God bless you, honey. I used to film her. She'd come over and her mom would drop her off and I would take care of her throughout the day. And I would film little cute things Maddie did. And people would have a fit if they saw her come in the room and whine at me. And I kind of ignored it for a moment. And they thought like I was ignoring her and neglecting her for days. That never happened. And my granddaughter is very happy, healthy. What, 16-year-old now, I believe? 16, 17, I'm not sure. Something in the teens. I haven't seen her in a while. But she's doing very well. There was no harm done. I never neglected or harmed that child in any way, shape, or form. Even though I did film her little cute things she did. I didn't film myself withdrawing food from her or joking about her buying a bra or anything like that. This lady had serious mental issues, serious ones. Even before I think she met this Jody Hildebrand lady. Just the stuff that she would film. And then she would discipline her kids with stupid stuff. Like, her son was made to sleep on a beanbag chair outside of his bedroom for, like, I think 6 months or something. And then she filmed it, like, jokingly. Like, oh, well, tell him what I did with you and blah, blah, blah. Just like it was some kind of a funny thing. First of all, when you discipline your child, that's a private matter. Besides the fact that you shouldn't be abusing and neglecting them to begin with. But then to sit there and make them talk about it live on the internet and, like, make a mocking joke out of it is disturbing, to say the least. And I'm pretty sure her son and her oldest daughter got out of that family as quick as they could. No wonder. Small wonder. And the husband is saying he didn't know a lot of this stuff was going on because he wasn't living with her, because Jody Hildebrand said, oh, your husband is in rebellion and he needs to be separated from the family if you're ever to restore your marriage. So at some point he got out of Dodge. But most people are saying he's as guilty as she was because he knew this stuff was going on for years. And I agree. I don't think he should get off scot-free either. I think there should be a thorough investigation of his side of things. I don't know how that'll all pan out. Anyway, I just wanted to update you guys on the Ruby Franke, Jody Hildebrand situation. I might try to find my original video and link it to this one so you can kind of see where I went from here to here. So it'll make a little bit more sense. We have yet to hear anything about Jody Hildebrand, the one that was the mastermind behind the Connections online chat, whatever, support group. Supposed support group that she ran. Anyway, so that's a little bit of an update on some of the awful, torturous abuses and neglects of the children that are thankfully in custody and I've heard doing as well as could be expected. I mean, a child that's put through handcuffing and torment for God knows how long is going to have repercussions, going to have some mental breakdowns and possibly some dissociation, I would imagine. And this stuff was going on for years. And okay, let's parallel this with another case I talked about, and don't jump me for this, but Shanann Watts would be another evidence of this kind of garbage. She was doing the baby-wise techniques with her children. And I'm not even talking about the whole Chris Watts killing her and the babies and all, and the girls and all that stuff. No, that's deplorable beyond words. As you know, I'm extremely disgusted and disturbed by that whole thing. And Chris is exactly where he needs to be, which is behind bars. However, the things that I saw Shanann doing with her children, like little Cece hanging by her rib cage from a sink, and Shanann filming it and not going and helping her daughter. That's disturbing. The fact that her other daughter was often hungry and begging for food, and Shanann would sit and eat cookies in front of her or whatever she ate, her little treats that she was selling, all for what? Views. So she could film everybody and get some money. Yeah. And sell her products. No. That's awful. And that baby-wise stuff is trash. Making a baby sit on a blanket and then smacking them if they get off the blanket to train them to sit in one square on the floor. No. We have a relative in my family that did that kind of garbage to her own child. And that child went through absolute horrific self-esteem issues and just traumatic reactions from the abuse she went through. In fact, I actually went and rescued that child at one point and raised her for a year. That baby-wise stuff is trash. Some of the stuff churches are teaching is trash. And I'm a church-going person, so I'll tell you, I don't agree with every single thing every church teaches. I really don't. Some of the quote-unquote disciplinary measures that churches teach are trash. And very disturbing and cause very messed up individuals for years later. Not okay. Not okay. Alright, anyway, that's enough on that morbid, depressing subject. I realize the holidays are here and nobody wants to really hear negative stuff, but the fact is there are people all around the world that are doing this kind of crazy junk to their kids should have never had custody of any minors in their presence at all, in my opinion. And yet it continues. So my admonishment to you is, if you suspect, and I mean even have an inkling, that something seems off on how a child is being treated, or you see somebody do something or say something that causes you to go, whoa, did they really just say that? Report it. Don't think twice. Report it. Say, hey, I heard this. It might be nothing. It might be something. Can you maybe go investigate it and check it out? I've told people on YouTube for years, if I think you're abusing your kid, especially if I see that there's abuse going on a video, I'm gonna report you without question, without apology. I'm a mandated reporter because of my vocation, and I will report you. So yeah, you might not want to film your stuff, and you might want to stop doing what you're doing. In fact, you will want to stop doing what you're doing, because at some point somebody else is going to see it, or someone else is going to suspect it, and you will be reported, most likely. And if you're not, then all I can say is society has failed your children if you're doing stuff like that to your kids. I'm very grateful for those that are exposing this story on the Ruby and the Jody situation. It's just so absolutely vulgar and disgusting what she put these poor kids through and filmed. I won't even mention some of the other stuff, like about the stuffed animal and just horrible stuff. And there's probably countless other things that these poor kids have gone through that we don't even know about and won't know about, unless the kids one day grow up and tell their own story, which I do hope they do. I hope as they get older and they become adults, they start writing books and they start telling people, hey, this is what I went through in the name of religion, the name of Mormonism, the name of my mom read this stupid story or this stupid child-raising book and hooked up with this lady that said she was going to help her fix her marriage and her family, and made it even worse what my mom was doing to us. I hope that story gets written. I really do. I pray every one of those kids will tell their story so that they can help other kids and expose the darkness of what's masquerading as light. Because, of course, all these things that are happening behind closed doors are purported as, well, it's for your own good. It's to discipline you. It's to help you grow into good children and good citizens. And we're doing it for your own good. Yeah, that's what narcissists will tell you. I'm only doing it for your own good. I'm only saying what other people are thinking. Yeah, that kind of garbage goes on every day in households. So yeah, like I said, if you suspect, even suspect, have an inkling, whatever, that somebody's being harmed, make sure you take care of it. Make sure you report it. Also, if you see somebody in a car, walking down the road, with somebody, without somebody, whatever, and they do this little thing where they tuck their thumb and go like this, that is a sign that they're in danger. Please take action. Please report. Get the license plate number. Get the description of the people that are in the situation. And don't let somebody become another victim if you can stop it from happening. All right? That is my admonishment to you right now. It is the holidays and people are a lot more sneaky because they can get away with it because everybody's distracted with the bells and the whistles and the toys and the presents and the Santa Claus and the Hanukkah and whatever, the Kwanzaa, and they can get away with stuff under the radar. Keep your eyes open, your ears alert at all times, and be ready to jump on a report. Don't think somebody else is going to report something, because 9 times out of 10, people could have averted a crisis had they taken quick action and not thought, oh, well, somebody else got it. You don't know that, and chances are they don't. So please, be a good citizen, be a kind human being, save a life, take action. That's all I have to say for now. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. I hope this has been an enlightening update and definitely a tale of caution and a tale of woe all at the same time. Even though it is the holidays, some things need to be spoken and exposed. So yes, we continue to keep an eye on this Ruby Franke Jody Hildebrand situation, and as I learn more, you'll know more. I promise. Have a wonderful day. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Whatever you celebrate, do it with love and kindness in your heart towards others, and be the best you can be. Have a great one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.